Hello. So this is the Carro 45T. The only way to get this tank currently is to play Tour of Duty if you're in a clan. What you do, you go through each stage all the way up to 21 and then you'll get the tank for free. It did used to be available in maneuvers, however in the last maneuvers it wasn't in there, so currently the only way to get this thing is from that Tour of Duty. In this video we're going to be going through a variety of different loadouts. More information can be found in the description on those loadouts, but we're also going to be looking at the server stats for the past 30 days, see how people are playing it, and this is one of the easiest tanks to mark from the Clan Wars reward tanks. So it should be quite interesting to see how the stats are in comparison to other tanks from the Clan Wars collection. As you'll see when looking at the medium tanks for the past 30 days on the EU server at tier 10, the Carro has had 214,000 games played. This is just less than what the 121B has, which is technically a Clan Wars War tank, but not really anymore because you can get it in the Bond store. But the next Clan Wars War tank that you'll see from this is the 907, which has 109,000. So the Carro has an extra 100,000 games played in the past 30 days. And this is for obvious reasons, because it's much easier to get it from the Tour of Duty than it is a 907 from maneuvers or an auction. Although technically it's probably easier to get it from an auction than it is to do the Tour of Duty if you have enough bonds. If we go ahead and just compare this to other reward tanks and we sort by DPG, you'll see where the Carro sits, which is directly in the middle of the pack, which is kind of surprising considering that quite a few regular casual players also have this vehicle now. On average, the player's win rate is 52%, and in the tank they are getting 51%, so they have a 0.73% win rate difference. But compared to the other Clan Wars World tanks, you can see that the stats are pretty low, and this is just down to the fact that better players are playing these tanks. T95E6 has 58% wins, nearly 59% wins for the players that are playing it, and it's getting 57% with an average damage of 2,900. Same thing goes with the ST62 version 2 and then the 907. Interestingly enough, the 907 is the only one with a positive win rate difference. But the place where you can really see how the players are doing in the vehicle in comparison to others is going by marks of excellence. For the T95E6, you need to average 5,900 combined per game to free market. For the ST62 you need 5.2, you need 5.1 for the 907, and for the Carro that drops all the way down to 4.7. And for people wondering, before this tank went into the Tour of Duty system, it had a mark requirement of around about 5.1, 5.2. So that does go to show that yes, the tank is clearly good, but it also shows that these tanks aren't necessarily amazing, it's more just the players that are playing them. For equipment on this vehicle, we are going with vents, hardening, and then a stab. I won't lie to you though, not many people are going to be using standard equipment on this tank. So this setup is actually pretty unrealistic, and you really do want to have the bounty hardening or hardening in the correct slot to get the most out of this tank. For secondary equipment, obviously you would want CVS, optics, and then stab, so that you can then go and scout for yourself on maps like Prokhorovka or even Murvanka if you want to go to the forest area. I will also say that hardly anybody is ever going to fire the standard round in this tank. This is because this is an auto reloader and it's also AP and APCR. The APCR is just flat out better, and not only that, but because it's an auto reloader, intuition doesn't really work. Because what intuition will do is basically just load one shell from that complete clip. It won't give you your full clip if you have that fully loaded. For the crew, we're just going to run through this very briefly so that you can see what I have. We have the commander, the gunner, driver, and then the loader. Okay, so for our starting out loadout, which is not really what everybody would use on this tank, but you know, it's one of those loadouts that normal people would use on other tanks, so I'm going to keep this loadout in the video. Obviously, for playing Clan Wars reward tanks, it's slightly different from my other tanks because most people will try and play them to be at their very best rather than trying to play them to conserve credits or anything like that, because you've worked hard to go and get this vehicle, you want to play it to its maximum potential. But we're going to go over to the B1, C1 area on, what map is this? Steps. We're actually playing an assault. Very, very nice. So we don't have to worry about anyone to the left there, with the RU defending that. We can go hold down over here behind this rock, which is very, very nice. This guy's playing a lot. I was going to say very aggressively. You know what? We're actually going to push into this, because this guy peeking means that these aren't pushing. So we should be able to hopefully maybe get some shots on this guy. The thing is with this, I don't think it really matters too much if you spam the full clip if you're going to get guaranteed damage. He says. Well, he's not going to get guaranteed damage now, so we're going to conserve that shell. Ideally, you don't want to fire the last shell. There we go. One more in. And we're just playing on this reload. Just conserving the shell. Making sure we don't fire the last one, because then the DPM really is quite bad. We may even wait a little bit longer. Although this guy is peeking out, so there we go. Put one more into him. Again, to try and get the most out of these games, we're going to aim for the free mark requirement, which is around about 4.7 at the time of recording. It could obviously change when you're watching this, but right now it is around about 4.7. I'm just thinking, like, this M103, the problem is the VZ is behind this, which I'm a bit worried about. The M103 is behind this rock. I don't know if the VZ is up here. A little bit worried about him. He is up there. Okay. Yeah, that's not really a situation I want to... Wait, is he... I don't know what he's doing. I love bouncing off the lower plates of American heavies. Okay, right, well, we can't really peek this, so we need to go around a little bit. There we go. Very nice that we managed to find the angle there as well. It wouldn't have really mattered too much if we took one shot from the M103. I was kind of expecting it to happen. The Badger is over here. We're just going to wait for the reload. One into the Badger. He's probably going to go back. Two into the Badger. Lovely. And we'll just back off again from that. The penetration on this is 248 standard rounds, but then you have 320 APCR for the premium, which, yes, you can tell why most people don't bother with the standard rounds in comparison. Why is this guy going up? Why would he not go... That really wasn't worth it, was it? Why would he not just go around the corner? Like, surely that's safer, no? Alright then. Anyway, continuing through. We need to continue to get more damage out of this game, is what we need. We're going to go up as well. The G-Saw or something like that is over here, so we need to be careful about that. There he is. See? Hello, G-Saw. Could have really waited for that shell to be loaded, but it doesn't matter too much. We need to just continue trying to move forwards as best as we can. Oh, never miss an opportunity to shoot artillery. Yep, I know it'll ruin the reload, but whatever. Always kill the artillery. And now we just need to wait, conserve the reload again. There's still plenty of damage to be had here at the moment. I'm going to fire this last shell. That one went in. So we should have 3 blinds now, I believe. If we are correct. Where's the Badger gone? Oh, hello. Hello, Badger. Hopefully we can get one more shot in. Although the Badger doesn't go for the S-Conk. I don't know if he thinks the S-Conk has like some insane reload or something, but the Badger definitely has a better reload now. Or at least he should. Alright, we'll see how many blinds we get in this game. Not bad though. So we get 4.9 out of that. Very, very nice. Apply. I mean, it's not too bad. We fired 18, hit 17, and pen 14. Not bad for standard rounds. Okay, we are now using the Peasant loadout, which is a loadout that absolutely nobody should be using on this tank. If you go and get a Clan Wars reward tank and then use this loadout, I don't know what you're doing. But here we are. We have nothing but the standard rounds. We have a fire extinguisher because we're too poor to afford food, even though that we would have played Clan Wars to go and get this, or Tour of Duty or whatever. But, yeah. Here we go. We're going to go to the mid. We'll see how this goes. It doesn't look like it's going to go very well. Ah, yes, lovely. I'm expecting quite a few people here. However, hopefully people will be able to help this. Problem is that this guy can very much out DPM me. Maybe get another bounce if we're lucky. Yeah, nice. This guy's not very intelligent. That shouldn't have ricocheted. I'd love to have some help. Right, there we go. Anyway, moving back on with our lives. Hopefully no one goes to the mid, because if they do, then we're dead, which is a lovely, lovely feature of this map. But I mean, we have enough people to hopefully defend me. We should have really had CVS. I mean, the problem with these loadouts is that I choose a second loadout to have, like, the tryhard loadout. So, I would actually want to have CVS here, but it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, if we did have CVS, it would be great, because we could just spot everybody over here. Is the heavy flank pushing? Are they going to die? I mean, we're spotted. EBR's pushing. EBR's probably going to end up dying. Interestingly enough, the EBR doesn't really spot anyone. Like, he only spots the K91. I mean, I don't want to push it because that is not going to be ending very well for me, but... Well, the Rhino is down there. Okay. They've got a full-on party going on. There we go. There's the gorilla. One into his tracks. And he's dead. Very strong track armor apparently on the gorilla. Okay. Right, now that this is cleared out, I mean, we have assistance, so combined is actually okay. There's a DBV that I think is AFK. Leo 1 though, that is more of a threat. We track him. We're not going to get a second shot though. And what we're going to do is go up on this and track the DBV. Oh, he's already tracked. Unfortunate. There we go. One more into him. Oh, don't do that. Bad DBV. We activated him. It just suddenly started working. Why does it... Stop that. No. Bad. Don't do that. Oh, hello. He's right there. Excellent. We always love killing artillery. Especially when it's blind. Alright, there's the gorilla. I don't think we're going to get a tracking shot on him, but... We've actually done really, really well. Alright, combined-wise. Oh, we do get a tracking shot on him. All the tracking. There you go. See? 5k combined. Not an issue. Marks go up. Never worried. See? Who needs the CVS loadout when you could just track someone? I mean, there is still potential to have a little bit more out of this. Maybe 1 or 2 more shots, but we would need to be very, very fast to get there. I mean, this tank is not slow, so... I mean, is this higher combined than our last game? It's pretty close. Hello, sir. There we go. Lovely. Nearly 4k damage, 6.2k combined. That's very, very good. Actually, it was 4.4k damage because we killed the artillery as well. This was a good game. Apply. I even got a book. Look at that. Very useful for this account. Yeah, even without gold, see? Gaming. Peasant Loadout Gaming. And as always, before we go into the last game, we're going to go through the field mods. No field mods have been used up until now. So we go for the left one, then the right. And then this one actually depends on how much you value the camo. Because currently with this setup, we have 32%. And if we were to choose the right-hand side, that would go up to 35. Obviously, we're talking about the stationary camo. And then left, 29. But you do then get better reverse speed with the left-hand side and also slightly better suspension repair time. But for me personally, I go for this one. Don't do anything for number 7 and the left-hand side for number 8. Thank you so much for synchronizing the store. So for our third and final game, we have obviously got the try-hard loadout, nothing but the premium ammo. We have food, large repair kit, large med kit. We also have experimental hardening because this does get an ammo rack issue every now and again. We also have bond vents and bond stab with a vents directive. Now, I'm actually going to go down this way to see... I also want to put one into this guy if I can. Not really. I mean, you need to try and get some of these to be killed. I wanted to see if I can go for the fuel tanks on that guy, but... Nope. I'm going to track that guy out in the open. There we go. And because there's no artillery, we're allowed to go and play down here, which is very, very nice. It's so refreshing to not have artillery in the game. Like, you can actually play the game, imagine that. And our team is also pushing up, which is lovely. Like, this is what you want to see. Like, you actually have the ability to play the game. Like, these are going to the north, okay. This guy's taking a lot of damage for that. Like, this is not really what you want to be, No. No, that's not gone well. One to you. I did want to see if I could get a slight angle on the people that are up around the corner, but it's not really a safe way of doing this. Now we need to back off again. Because of those people at the back, we need to be careful of that. Obviously, we've seen how the S-Conks had fun. These should die very soon. This S-Conk is pushing as well, which is probably not for the best. Let's try and stay safe behind this, and then we're going to go up and just kill this guy. One into the back chat. Lovely. This guy will now die to the person at the top from the Turin. Excellent. And now, what we can hopefully do is just go unspotted in a second. Which we should be unspotted around about now. Yeah, good luck penning an E100, Max. Can I see this? Ah, yes, an E3. Look at that Capola that I can pen. What a lovely, lovely thing. There's still the Gorilla 15 that is not spotted. Which, that one does not spark joy, you know? I'm a little bit worried about that. One into the 60. Goes a little bit too high in the E100. We'll just back off and just conserve it. The Gorilla's in there? Okay. That's actually quite impressive. I'm just going to put a few shells in then. Once this is loaded, we're going to put one into one of these. Should be able to put him into there. There we go. Very, very nice. Okay, so far so good. We need to be a little bit concerned about the gorilla. Like, that is a problem. Like, a pretty big problem, actually. And I can't actually spot the gorilla either. I'm going to put, again, a few shots into this. Looks like he's backed off. We didn't see any splash for the first shot, so... 705A is pushing up and using the wreck to cover him as well. This game is by no means won. That's two in. Okay, and now he's moved back. I'm hoping that we're getting shots on this gorilla. Because soon, hopefully, he peaks and he dies. I mean, I think we've put maybe 3 in so far. But once he's dead, we can then try and start to farm this. Which is the important bit. He's not peaking anymore. Or maybe he is. Unless it was them that spotted me. Oh. No splash there. I don't have quite enough gun depression. Look at it. Oh, it's so close, man, to being able to do it. I think if maybe I peek up a little bit to the left, I might have been able to do it. Alright, we're just going to load this last shell. And we'll play off this last shell to try and get some Capola snipes or something. Keep putting a few shots in every now and again. I don't know how many of these are actually hitting, but... One into you. Hello. Peekaboo. I love the E100 turret so much, man. I'm so glad they buffed it. Okay. I mean, we still have 36 shells, so... The Gorilla's not peeking anymore. I mean, I don't know if I don't think the gorilla can run either. I think, well, maybe he could. Depends if the S-Conk or M5Y were looking. Because he could have timed it, like, just had the timing of a god to actually get out of there. He over-angled his turret, therefore we could get an easy shot into him. Now he's peeking because he's quite angry. And he's now dead. Lovely. Okay, now we get to see how much damage Max has done to the Gorilla. Also, I think maybe the M5Y shot him once as well, so wherever he is, there he is. See, like, I don't understand what's happening here. Because it is not splashing on this one. It's like, I must be hitting something. You know? I just don't know what I'm hitting. I could be hitting the E3 and like tracking it or something at the back. I don't know. So like I could have 0 blind here. I mean, the E50M is still at the back. We have full health. I think we just go for this now. The E3. Of course the E3 is now peaking this. Okay. I wasn't expecting the E3 to also peak it. That's really bad. There's the E50 though. Ah, whatever. Okay, well that's how to just die in 2 seconds. I didn't think the E3 would be peaking. He's not peaked the entire game, and he's just been sitting there like looking at a rock, and he's now peaking it. My bad. I tried to push a flank. Not allowed to do that. I also didn't realise, like I didn't even look at the minimap. Like my team isn't even there to shoot what is spotted. The Gorilla's on 200 health. I also forgot that the camera wasn't showing. Unfortunate. Oh well, that game was just like the old days where I never had the webcam. I'm not gonna redo the game because it was an okay game. We get 4.9 out of it, so we hit the Gorilla 3 times. Do we hit the E3 at all? No. So we've done 1,200 damage nearly to the Gorilla. Apply. I'm actually quite surprised that we never spotted the Gorilla when he fired, because the Gorilla doesn't have that good camo rating. But yeah, not too bad of a session. We lost 122k credits because why not? At the end of that, we get 4.7k average damage, 100% win rate, average assistant 1.1k. Carro, good tank.